Have you ever paused to reflect on the intricate web of connections that define your life? Some individuals cross our paths for mere moments, while others stay for years, leaving indelible marks on our souls. According to Buddhist philosophy, these encounters are never random. Each person who enters our lives serves a purpose, acting as a teacher, a guide, or a mirror to help us grow and evolve spiritually. The profound truth is that relationships are not just about companionship. They are transformative forces shaping the fabric of our existence. Picture a serene garden, where seeds are planted by unseen hands. Some bloom into radiant flowers, vibrant but fleeting. Others grow into sturdy trees, offering shade and support over a lifetime. This garden is our life, and every person we meet represents a seed. Some teach us resilience through challenges, others comfort us in times of despair, and a select few stand by us unwaveringly, like constellations in our personal sky. This imagery encapsulates the essence of a Zen story, where a monk likens life's encounters to the purposeful flight of birds gliding along unseen currents. One cannot help but ponder why certain people evoke a sense of familiarity or discomfort. The answer lies in the intricate interplay of karma and destiny. Karma, the spiritual law of cause and effect, weaves a complex narrative where every interaction contributes to our growth. Destiny ensures these interactions occur at pivotal moments, like signposts guiding us along our spiritual journey. For instance, consider the story of Hiroshi, a young monk who asked his master why some connections felt predestined while others seemed fraught with unease. The master explained that every person is like a seed planted in our garden, each with a distinct role, to teach, to support, or to challenge. This perspective reshapes how we view difficult relationships. Often, we perceive those who hurt us as adversaries, yet Buddhism teaches us to see them as our greatest teachers. These individuals are the sharp stones on our path, refining our character and testing our resolve. Imagine a childhood friend who betrayed your trust. The pain, though intense, forces you to introspect and develop emotional strength. Over time, you may come to realize that this betrayal was a catalyst for personal growth, teaching you resilience and discernment. Supportive relationships, on the other hand, are akin to the roots of a majestic tree. They anchor us during life's storms, providing stability and nourishment. Hiroshi's master described such connections as gifts from the universe, arriving precisely when we need them most. Perhaps you recall a mentor or friend who appeared during a challenging period, offering guidance that illuminated your path. These individuals are reminders of life's inherent interconnectedness and the unseen forces orchestrating our journeys. Equally profound are the relationships that endure, forming the bedrock of our lives. These are the fixed stars in our sky, family, lifelong friends, or soulmates who share our joys and burdens. Their presence is a constant source of strength, and their influence shapes our identity. Hiroshi, reflecting on his master's wisdom, realized the gratitude he felt for these enduring bonds, recognizing them as treasures in the mosaic of his existence. As we navigate this intricate web of relationships, the question arises: how do we balance kindness and self-respect? The concept of non-force, a central tenet in Buddhism, provides a guiding principle. It teaches us to act with compassion without imposing our will on others. This wisdom is particularly relevant when helping those in need. While the intention to assist may come from a place of love, unsolicited help can disrupt another's karmic journey. Consider the story of Ash and Masu, two friends whose relationship was tested by such an act. When Masu faced financial difficulties, Ash secretly paid off his debts, believing it to be a kind gesture. However, this well-meaning act caused unintended consequences. Masu felt deprived of the opportunity to overcome his challenges independently, leading to feelings of shame and a strain in their friendship. This story underscores the importance of respecting others' autonomy and allowing them to learn from their experiences. The wisdom of non-force also applies to our approach to forgiveness. Forgiveness, in Buddhist thought, is not merely an act of absolution. It is a process of self-liberation. The story of the merchant and the Buddha illustrates this beautifully. The merchant, consumed by anger, spat in the Buddha's face, expecting retaliation. Yet, the Buddha responded with serene acceptance, viewing the act not as an offense, but as an expression of the merchant's inner turmoil. This profound act of non-reaction transformed the merchant, leading him to seek forgiveness and embark on a path of self-reflection. Forgiveness, therefore, is less about the other person and more about freeing ourselves from the chains of resentment. It requires seeing the individual not as an enemy, but as a fellow traveler on the path of growth. This perspective allows us to let go of past grievances and embrace the present with an open heart. Balancing kindness also involves setting boundaries to protect our well-being. Kindness, when unchecked, can become toxic, leading to self-neglect and exploitation. The story of the cherry tree, central to a village's prosperity, serves as a metaphor for this lesson. Over time, some villagers harvested more than their share, neglecting the tree's care. This imbalance led to the tree's decline, mirroring how excessive giving without discernment depletes our energy and diminishes our capacity to help others. To cultivate healthy relationships, we must recognize the signs of toxicity and take steps to preserve our peace. Toxic behaviors, such as manipulation, lack of empathy, or boundary violations, can erode our emotional well-being. By practicing awareness and trusting our intuition, we learn to discern who enriches our lives and who detracts from it. For instance, Kiera, a young woman seeking wisdom from a monk, discovered the importance of protecting her inner peace by identifying and addressing such behaviors in her relationships. The transformative power of solitude further enriches our understanding of relationships. Solitude is not loneliness, but a sacred space for self-reflection and growth. It allows us to explore our inner world, uncovering hidden strengths and passions. A Zen story about a girl named Elena illustrates this beautifully. Struggling with feelings of isolation, she sought guidance from a monk who helped her see solitude as an opportunity for personal growth. Through this shift in perspective, Elena learned to value the quality of her connections over their quantity, finding fulfillment in meaningful relationships and self-discovery. This journey of self-awareness and connection culminates in the realization that every encounter is a gift, shaping our narrative in unique ways. Whether through joy or challenge, each person we meet contributes to the mosaic of our lives. As Hiroshi's master wisely observed, life is an intricate web of destinies, and every interaction carries the potential for transformation. As we conclude this first exploration, let us carry forward the lessons of interconnectedness, kindness, and self-respect. These principles guide us not only in our relationships with others, but also in our relationship with ourselves. And as you reflect on these insights, consider joining our community at Buddhism in Modern Life. Subscribe to our channel to continue this journey of discovery and embrace the profound beauty of human connection. As we delve further into the profound insights of Buddhist philosophy, the complexity of human relationships becomes even more apparent. Every encounter, fleeting or enduring, weaves itself into the intricate tapestry of our lives, shaping who we are and who we are becoming. In this continuation, we explore how relationships act as both mirrors and bridges, reflecting our innermost selves while connecting us to a greater understanding of the world around us. Imagine walking through a dense forest where sunlight filters through the trees, creating a mosaic of light and shadow on the ground. This interplay mirrors the nature of relationships. Some people illuminate our paths, while others cast shadows that challenge us to navigate the darker corners of our souls. In Buddhist teachings, these dynamics are not random but are orchestrated by the interplay of karma and the universal law of interconnectedness. Consider the role of karmic ties in relationships. Karma is not merely about rewards or punishments, but about the consequences of actions and intentions that ripple through time. When we meet someone who profoundly affects us, it is often the result of karmic bonds formed in previous lifetimes. These bonds manifest as unexplained familiarity or tension, urging us to resolve unfinished lessons or fulfill spiritual purposes. For instance, the Zen tale of the two monks crossing paths repeatedly over decades highlights how karmic connections guide us toward growth, even if the encounters seem challenging or inexplicable. This concept of karmic relationships extends to those who test our limits. These individuals are not adversaries but catalysts for transformation. Picture a potter shaping clay on a wheel. The pressure applied molds the clay into something beautiful and functional. Similarly, difficult people in our lives apply the pressure needed to shape our character. A story shared by a Buddhist monk tells of a disciple who struggled with a cantankerous elder in the monastery. Over time, the disciple realized that his interactions with the elder taught him patience, humility, and compassion, qualities he might not have developed otherwise. Supportive relationships, too, are intricately tied to our spiritual evolution. These individuals are like the fertile soil in our garden, nurturing our growth with their presence and encouragement. They help us weather life's storms and celebrate its triumphs. A poignant example is the story of a widow who found solace in the unwavering friendship of her childhood companion. Their bond, forged over decades, exemplified the essence of unconditional support and the deep spiritual connections that transcend words. Yet, not all relationships are meant to last a lifetime. Some are like the ephemeral blossoms of spring, beautiful but transient. These brief encounters, though fleeting, carry immense significance. They teach us to cherish the present moment and to find meaning in impermanence. A Zen parable speaks of a traveler who met a kind stranger on a perilous journey. The stranger's guidance helped the traveler overcome obstacles, yet they parted ways at the journey's end. The memory of that encounter stayed with the traveler, reminding them of the kindness and wisdom that can arise in unexpected moments. As we reflect on the impermanence of relationships, the question arises: how do we discern their purpose in our lives? The answer lies in mindfulness and self-awareness. By cultivating presence, we become attuned to the lessons each interaction offers. This practice transforms even the most mundane exchanges into opportunities for growth. For example, a simple conversation with a stranger can spark new insights or challenge preconceived notions, expanding our perspective. The practice of forgiveness further deepens our understanding of relationships. Forgiveness, in the Buddhist view, is not about condoning harmful actions, but about freeing ourselves from the burden of resentment. The story of the merchant who spat on the Buddha, only to be met with compassion and equanimity, illustrates this principle. The Buddha's response demonstrated that forgiveness is an act of liberation, allowing us to transcend the past and embrace the present with clarity and peace. In our own lives, forgiveness often requires us to confront painful memories and release the narratives that bind us to suffering. A woman who endured years of estrangement from her sibling found healing through a practice of loving kindness meditation. By silently wishing her sibling happiness and peace, she gradually dissolved the barriers of anger and hurt. This act of inner forgiveness paved the way for reconciliation, proving that healing begins within. The balance between kindness and self-respect also plays a pivotal role in navigating relationships. While kindness is a cornerstone of Buddhist ethics, unchecked generosity can lead to self-neglect. The tale of the cherry tree, over-harvested by villagers, serves as a cautionary metaphor. Just as the tree's vitality waned under the weight of excessive demands, so too can our well-being diminish when we give without boundaries. To maintain this balance, we must cultivate discernment, the ability to recognize when our kindness is being exploited or when it is draining our energy. A young professional who constantly prioritized her colleagues' needs over her own eventually realized the toll it took on her health and happiness. By setting clear boundaries and learning to say no, she reclaimed her sense of self while continuing to act with compassion. Trusting our intuition is another vital aspect of navigating relationships. Intuition, often described as the voice of the soul, guides us toward harmony and away from discord. The story of Kiera, who sought wisdom from a monk about toxic relationships, underscores this point. By learning to listen to her inner voice, she identified the subtle signs of manipulation and deceit, empowering her to protect her peace and cultivate healthier connections. Beyond individual relationships, the philosophy of interconnectedness invites us to consider our role in the larger web of life. Every action we take influences the collective, just as a single drop of water creates ripples in a pond. This awareness inspires us to act with greater mindfulness and compassion, knowing that our choices contribute to the well-being of all. A striking example of this principle is the practice of engaged Buddhism, which emphasizes social and environmental activism rooted in spiritual values. A community that rallied to protect a sacred forest demonstrated how collective action, fueled by compassion, can preserve not only the environment but also the cultural and spiritual heritage it represents. Their efforts embodied the Buddhist ideal of acting for the benefit of all beings. As we integrate these teachings into our lives, we discover that relationships are not merely external interactions but reflections of our inner world. They reveal our strengths, vulnerabilities, and aspirations, urging us to grow in ways we might never have anticipated. Whether through the challenges posed by difficult individuals or the solace offered by steadfast companions, each relationship becomes a stepping stone on the path to self-discovery. Let us continue to explore these themes with open hearts and minds. And as you reflect on the profound connections in your own life, consider joining our community at Buddhism in Modern Life. Subscribe to our channel for more insights and practices that illuminate the transformative power of relationships and spiritual growth. Together, we can weave a tapestry of connection, compassion, and enlightenment. As we deepen our exploration of relationships through the lens of Buddhist wisdom, we begin to understand how these connections extend far beyond the individual. Relationships not only shape our inner world, but also influence the collective energy of communities and the environment. This interconnectedness reveals the ripple effect of our actions, words, and intentions, emphasizing the profound impact of each bond we form. Imagine a single pebble dropped into a still pond. The ripples spread outward, touching every corner of the surface. Similarly, each interaction we have, whether a fleeting exchange with a stranger or a lifelong friendship, sends waves into the world. In Buddhism, this phenomenon is closely tied to the concept of dependent origination, which teaches that all things arise in dependence upon other things. Nothing exists in isolation. Our lives are intricately woven into the fabric of the universe. This understanding invites us to approach relationships with mindfulness and intention. When we act with kindness and authenticity, the ripples we create inspire positivity and harmony. For example, consider the story of a shopkeeper who greeted every customer with genuine warmth and a smile. Over time, this simple practice transformed the atmosphere of her store into a haven of goodwill, attracting not only loyal patrons but also uplifting the surrounding community. Her actions exemplify how the energy we bring to our interactions can ripple outward, creating a network of positive influence. Conversely, when we act from a place of fear, anger, or judgment, the ripples we send can create discord. A Zen story tells of a farmer who, frustrated by a neighbor's wandering livestock, lashed out with harsh words. The tension escalated, affecting not only their relationship, but also the harmony of their entire village. It was only when the farmer chose to address the situation with compassion and dialogue that peace was restored. This tale underscores the importance of mindful communication and the responsibility we bear for the energy we contribute to our relationships. The ripple effect of connections also manifests in the realm of mentorship and teaching. Just as a tree produces seeds that grow into new trees, the wisdom and guidance we share with others have the potential to multiply. A monk once recounted the story of his teacher, who inspired him not only through words but through the quiet integrity of his actions. This influence, like a seed planted in fertile soil, grew within the monk, who then passed the teachings to his own disciples. The lineage of wisdom continued, illustrating how one relationship can shape generations. Mentorship extends beyond formal settings and can emerge in unexpected moments. A chance encounter with a compassionate stranger, for instance, can leave a lasting impression. Imagine a traveler who, lost and weary, receives directions and encouragement from a passerby. This small act of kindness instills a sense of hope, which the traveler carries forward, perhaps inspiring them to extend similar kindness to others. Such interactions highlight how the simplest gestures can create ripples that transcend time and space. Relationships also play a crucial role in cultivating resilience and adaptability. Life's challenges often test our ability to remain centered and compassionate, and the support of others can make all the difference. A Zen parable tells of a young bamboo plant that survived a powerful storm, not because of its strength, but because it bent with the wind. Similarly, when we face adversity, the presence of supportive relationships helps us navigate difficulties with flexibility and grace. Consider the experience of a community coming together after a natural disaster. While the destruction may seem overwhelming, the collective efforts of neighbors, friends, and even strangers to rebuild create a sense of hope and solidarity. Each act of kindness, a shared meal, a helping hand, a comforting word, strengthens the bonds that sustain the community. These relationships, rooted in compassion, become the foundation for resilience and renewal. The ripple effect of connections also extends to our relationship with the natural world. In Buddhist teachings, the principle of interbeing emphasizes that humans and nature are deeply interconnected. Our actions toward the environment reflect our inner state, and vice versa. When we cultivate a sense of reverence for the earth, our choices align with sustainability and harmony. Conversely, when we act with disregard for the natural world, we disrupt the balance that sustains all life. A striking example of this interconnectedness is the practice of forest monasteries in Southeast Asia. Monks living in these monasteries develop a profound connection with the natural environment, treating the forests as sacred spaces. This relationship fosters not only spiritual growth, but also ecological preservation. By living in harmony with nature, these communities demonstrate how mindful relationships with the environment can create ripples of conservation and awareness. The impact of our connections also invites us to reflect on the balance between giving and receiving. Just as rivers flow to nourish the land and are replenished by rainfall, healthy relationships thrive on mutual exchange. When we give without expecting anything in return, we cultivate generosity and openness. At the same time, learning to receive with gratitude and humility deepens our connections and allows others the joy of giving. A powerful metaphor for this balance is the story of the Bodhisattva, an enlightened being who postpones their own liberation to assist others on the path to enlightenment. The Bodhisattva's selflessness inspires countless beings to strive for awakening, creating a cycle of giving and receiving that uplifts all. This example reminds us that true generosity arises from a place of abundance and interconnectedness, enriching both the giver and the receiver. As we navigate the intricate web of relationships, the practice of non-attachment becomes essential. Non-attachment does not mean detachment or indifference, but rather a willingness to let relationships evolve naturally. When we release the need to control or cling to outcomes, we create space for authenticity and growth. A Zen story recounts the journey of a young artist who struggled to complete a painting. It was only when she let go of her perfectionism and allowed the brush to flow freely that the masterpiece emerged. Similarly, in our relationships, non-attachment fosters creativity and freedom, allowing connections to flourish in unexpected ways. The ripple effect of relationships ultimately teaches us that every interaction holds the potential for transformation. Whether through a smile, a kind word, or a shared moment of silence, the energy we bring to our connections shapes the world around us. By embracing the principles of mindfulness, compassion, and interdependence, we become active participants in the creation of a harmonious and interconnected existence. As we continue this journey of discovery, let us remember the power of our connections to influence not only our lives, but also the lives of others. And as you reflect on these insights, consider joining our community at Buddhism in Modern Life. Subscribe to our channel to explore more teachings and practices that illuminate the ripple effect of relationships and the path to collective harmony. Together, let us create ripples of kindness, wisdom, and transformation that extend far beyond ourselves. As we approach the conclusion of our exploration into the profound influence of relationships, it becomes clear that these connections are not merely transient occurrences, but enduring legacies that shape the essence of our lives. Relationships, whether fleeting or lifelong, plant seeds of transformation, inspire growth, and leave imprints that ripple through time. By embracing the lessons of these connections, we embark on a journey towards self-awareness, compassion, and collective well-being. The legacy of relationships begins with self-reflection. Each encounter, whether joyous or challenging, offers an opportunity to turn inward and ask, what is this teaching me about myself? In Buddhist practice, self-reflection is seen as a vital step in the path to enlightenment. It allows us to uncover the layers of our being, revealing strengths, vulnerabilities, and areas for growth. By examining how we respond to others, we gain insight into our patterns, attachments, and aspirations. Consider the story of a young monk named Taro who struggled with feelings of envy toward a fellow disciple. His teacher encouraged him to view this emotion as a mirror reflecting his own insecurities. Through meditation and self-inquiry, Taro realized that his envy stemmed from a fear of inadequacy. This realization was not an end but a beginning, a gateway to cultivating self-compassion and redirecting his energy toward personal growth. Taro's story reminds us that even the most difficult emotions can become stepping stones on the path to understanding and transformation. Beyond self-reflection, the legacy of relationships calls us to practice forgiveness and reconciliation. Forgiveness, as discussed earlier, is not about condoning harm but about freeing ourselves from the burdens of resentment. This liberation extends not only to ourselves but also to others, fostering an environment where healing and connection can flourish. A poignant example of reconciliation comes from the story of two estranged siblings who reunited after years of silence. The catalyst was a shared memory of their late mother, which reminded them of their deep bond despite past grievances. Through heartfelt conversations and mutual understanding, they rebuilt their relationship, creating a legacy of love and resilience that they passed on to their own families. Such stories underscore the transformative power of forgiveness to mend not just individual relationships, but entire family dynamics. The enduring impact of relationships also lies in the lessons we impart to others. Whether as parents, mentors, or friends, our actions and words leave lasting impressions. The principles we embody, kindness, patience, and integrity, become part of the fabric of those we influence, creating a chain of positive energy that extends beyond our immediate interactions. Imagine a teacher who, through their unwavering belief in a struggling student, inspires them to achieve their potential. Decades later, that student may become a teacher themselves, carrying forward the same spirit of encouragement. This cycle of inspiration highlights how the legacy of relationships transcends time, connecting generations through shared values and aspirations. The collective dimension of relationships invites us to consider how our connections contribute to the well-being of communities and the world. In Buddhist teachings, the concept of the Sangha, or spiritual community, emphasizes the importance of collective support and shared purpose. A thriving community is built on relationships that nurture trust, empathy, and collaboration. A real-world example of this is the story of a village that united to rebuild after a devastating flood. Despite personal losses, the villagers pooled their resources and skills, creating a stronger, more resilient community. Their collective efforts not only restored physical infrastructure, but also deepened social bonds, illustrating the power of relationships to foster solidarity and hope in the face of adversity. On a global scale, the legacy of relationships calls us to act as stewards of the earth and its inhabitants. The principle of interbeing teaches that our actions ripple through the interconnected web of life, affecting ecosystems, cultures, and future generations. By cultivating mindful and ethical relationships with the natural world, we honor our responsibility to protect and sustain it. Consider the inspiring work of environmental activists who collaborate across borders to address climate change. Their relationships, built on shared vision and mutual respect, demonstrate how collective action can drive meaningful change. Whether through reforestation projects, clean energy initiatives, or advocacy for vulnerable communities, these efforts embody the Buddhist ideal of acting for the benefit of all beings. As we embrace the legacy of relationships, we are reminded of the importance of gratitude. Each connection, whether harmonious or challenging, contributes to our growth and enriches our lives. Gratitude transforms how we perceive our relationships, shifting our focus from what we lack to what we have gained. By expressing appreciation for the people in our lives, we strengthen our bonds and inspire others to do the same. A simple yet profound practice of gratitude is to take a moment each day to reflect on the connections that have shaped us, whether through journaling, meditation, or heartfelt conversations. This practice deepens our awareness of the beauty and complexity of our relationships. It reminds us that even in moments of conflict or distance, there is value to be found and lessons to be learned. As we conclude this exploration of relationships, let us carry forward the wisdom and insights we have gathered. Relationships are not static. They are dynamic, ever-evolving expressions of our shared humanity. By approaching them with mindfulness, compassion, and a commitment to growth, we create a legacy that extends far beyond ourselves. Let us also remember that the journey of connection is ongoing. Each day offers new opportunities to nurture our bonds, heal old wounds, and create ripples of positivity that touch countless lives. And as you reflect on the legacy of relationships in your own life, consider joining our community at Buddhism in Modern Life. Subscribe to our channel to continue exploring the transformative power of human connection and spiritual growth. Together, we can honor the enduring beauty of relationships and their capacity to shape a more compassionate world.